And our first learning goal is we're jumping right into it, solving multi-digit division problems without decimals. So we are going to actually have 3 different ways to do this, just like we did with multiplication, and we're going to take them one step at a time. So make sure that you write this down. And actually, we have a little note-taking sheet, so hopefully you can jot it down in there, and we'll have it all together. So the first problem, or the first method, is the rectangle sections method. And it should sound familiar because we talked about a rectangle sections method in multiplication. That is a mouthful.
Yes.
So we're going to be doing something similar. In the multiplication, if you remember, it looked sort of like a grid almost. We had a bunch of different rectangles. And this one's going to look slightly different. So here's how we set up our rectangle sections. So we've got our division sign. The first thing I'm going to need to do is sort of rewrite this. I'm thinking if you had like a little division symbol here, this is how you'd set the problem up. So right now I'm thinking, how many times does 7 go into 3,822? That's a lot. So what I tend to do is just sort of ignore this end part. And I think, how many times does 7 go into 38? Because that's a little more reasonable to me. I know it's 5. So 7 goes into 38 5 times, and then I just tack on my little zeros there. Now when I multiply this out, I actually multiply 7 times 500, which you already know how to do. So 7 times 500 is 3,500, and then you subtract them to get what's left over, which you end up with 322 if you go through and subtract them. And then here's where like the rectangle sections comes, because now we add another rectangle. So we add that and we just move what our subtraction problem was up here to the top. Now I'm still using this number, 7, but now I'm thinking, how many times does it go into 322? And again, that's an awfully large number. So I'm going to again just look at the first couple numbers, 32. Well, 7 goes in, well, actually I could start with the first number. 7 doesn't go into 3. So I think I just automatically jumped into the next 2. So 7 times what gets me close to 32? And the answer is 4. And then again, I just add that 0 for that place value I ignored. So when I multiply 7 times 40, and I get 280. And then again, same system, you subtract next, and you end up with 42. And again, just like I did before, I'm going to add another rectangle, and I'm going to keep doing that until I end up not being able to divide 7 into whatever I have. So I'm going to move my 42 up to the top. How many times does 7 go into 42? Yahoo! I know this one. 6. So 7 times 6 is 42. Subtract, and I have 0. I have no remainder. Now, let's say there was a number smaller than 7 here. Do you know what that would be?
That would be a remainder.
It would. It would be the remainder if you had something that was other than 0 here. So our answer, this looks like a big old jumbled mess. So we don't have an answer yet, but if you look at this, we found out this, this, and this. So just like when we had the rectangle sections for multiplication, you just add those up. And you end up with 546. So 3,822 divided by 7 equals 546. So again, I know that's a mouthful, and I know you guys learned this way in 4th grade too, so hopefully this is just a little bit of review. And that's our first example. So now,
of course, you're going to get to try one on your own. And so pause for a moment, and then we'll go over it. But try it so you're familiar. So, and once again, this should be right on your note-taking sheet, so you have it all set up, nice and easy for you. But first of all, you're going to have your big number right here, and just like we were saying before, you can visualize like that division sign right over here. So 3,168 divided by 9. And once again, you can just look at the first couple of numbers here and think to yourself, well, 9 times what will get me close to 31? And I'm thinking here 9 times probably 3 would work. And I know that 9 times 3 is 27, just tack on my zeros. So you should have something like that. And then when you subtract it, as long as you remember to do all your carrying and all that good stuff, you should have 468. Once again.
Now also, if you like got this far and you don't have the same answer as us, fix it and then try and, pause us for a second and go in and try and finish the rest of it.
Right. Because it is tricky, because if you just make one little subtraction error here, your whole answer can be totally different. So, look here, 468 is the next little box that we're going to look at, and we just moved our subtraction answer here up to the next one. So now I'm going to think to myself, okay, well 9 times what will get me close to not 4, but 46. And so if I'm looking here, I'm going to see 50 now. 9 times 5 equals 45, and tack on my 0. So I get 450. And once again, I'll subtract that and get 18. And we're going to have one more box then. We're going to move our 18 over here. And this time I'm thinking to myself, well, finally, 9 times 2 will give me 18. And I get 0 again. So no remainder this time, which is perfectly fine. And now I just need to add up these 3 numbers here, and you should end up with 352.
Yep.
So, hopefully after seeing one, doing one together, now you're going to be ready to try a couple on your own. So this is where you get to try some all on your own. These, once again, are on your note-taking sheet, and then bring them back for the next day, and we'll be discussing them in our group.
Yep, and don't forget, look back. Look at our step-by-steps, and that will help you.
Mm-hmm.